Hello, my dear ones. I hope this finds you well. We're all so busy, it's not even funny. And forgive me, I'm still fighting this dental thing, so sorry. I can't put in my temporaries because I've got two posts sticking up there and a lot of sutures. Ah, horrible. But I hope this finds you well. I wanted to make sure I can get a hold of your cases there and work them. Where did you go? Yeah, our new handcrafted line is due in a week. We should have it in the next week. And exciting. I have a spiritual line too coming. This ought to be good. I think I've mentioned it before. I've got an all berry formula coming, an all fruit formula coming, an all flower formula coming, and an all leaf formula coming. So you figure out which level each is. So flowers, what level do you think that formula is going to address? And for you guys that are heavily into detoxifying and you're reaching these plateaus, you bump into the adrenals, right? And the astral bodies and the emotional body. Well, that's what that formula is for, is to open those doors. Same thing with the fruit. It's a mental, intellectual side. And then the leaves are more physical. The berries, oh, I've got another formula coming out. It's called Buckle Up. And believe me, you're going to want to buckle up taking this one. Oh my God. I'll try it first. It's a power hog. I mean, you should really feel that systemically and really give you a boost. See, I've got so many notes here to go over here. Holy Lord. I was waiting on Micah. Micah's down. Came over last night. He's headed toward Brazil. What's he got going in there? He's going to John of God again. I think he's having dental work done down there. Oh, poor guy. Holy Lord. But he's coming out. Oh, did you hear? We got a new class up. Reflexology. And Micah's going to do a more abbreviated crystal class for you, so it's not so expensive and it's a shorter one. And he's going to do one on colors and sounds. I started the Iridology and Color Therapy Institute way the freaking back, 75 maybe. And I had a friend, I think I told you, and we developed this little box and we put a crystal and a way to turn the crystal and then a light source. So then we could shine the light right to you while you're looking in. So, therapeutic, you use different colors to affect different things in the body. But really, full spectrum lighting is the key, and that is the sun. You got a lot of different levels of toxic chemicals that affect that, but at the same time, I want to get more into that. Also, music. Why we use music to create thoughts and how to change those thoughts with music, but how to replant thoughts with music. There's a lot to do with music and sounds, as most of you know, with the hue or the ohm, right? You're plugging into these higher frequencies when you're, different words, different sounds are frequencies. Everything's frequency, right? So that's why the hue is a little bit much more involved than the ohm. The hue is much more higher vibration, definitely deep into the Sanskrit writings. You'll find the hue, talked about the power of that. And we do a lot of hue at some of our seminars. Boy, when you have 10,000 people doing the hue, holy crap. Where was this? After Darwin left, he was the master at the time, we had, 10,000 people or more up in, was it Connecticut? Or where was this big convention center? The roof fell in. This huge, big dome roof fell in. That was amazing. Yeah. You know, I wrote this down. I was thinking about this the other day because we got this mind of ours. And I remember when I was living as a hermit out in the woods, and as my sinuses were draining, as I was seeing a lot of sediment in my urine, I was getting my sense of smell back. And I think I told you, I realized I've been smelling by memory. It's funny how that is. But when you start smelling something, you know, one thing that I realized living as a fruitarian in the woods, when your senses got reactivated, it's nirvanic. When you start smelling things for the first time, you realize that you thought you were smelling things. And you might be smelling some essences, but when you get your full sniffer back, whoa, smelly world. But it's something else. You start smelling people when you walk by them. I mean, you can smell meat eaters. I mean, it's pretty interesting, you know. And a lot of that is true when the senses are sleeping because of all this acidic agglomulation in the human body, suppressing the function of cells and all of that. So all your senses are suppressed. So I was looking at that, and it's kind of like when we look at things like a tree, we automatically, because that's your AI, you tree, you're not really seeing it for what it is. You're seeing the symbol tree. When you break down that part of the mind and you're working in the now, you don't see a tree. You see the energy, the magnetic energies coming together and putting it. You see the vibration of the tree. You can communicate with that. I mean, it's levels that are a little freaky for some, but they're there and fun to get into and play with. Becoming the one with, so to speak. But, you know, everything comes from the same source. Just don't lose yourself. And I want to catch up on some of these questions here. ATANAS, Bulgaria. Low blood pressure. You know, it's funny, a lot of people don't think about that. And there's some, I tend to run 118. Mine's just that smidgen right there. But, you know, anything like 115, anything like that, truly 120 over 60 is a really good blood pressure. And your body will actually go about there in a detoxing. Initially, some of you that have weak adrenals and kidneys, you're going to go low. And if you have high blood pressure, you're going to go low. You're going to go low. Once you take out all that spastic inflammation from acidosis, you're going to see everything go, and your blood pressure, everything just kind of goes, so you're going to see what your genetics are with that. And that's what you're working on then. Once you get the lymph moving, you get all this swelling and all this edema and all this crap out of the body, and you start working at the consciousness of the cells in this lifetime, you're going to see this where you're weak in there, lack of awareness or whatever, and that's then when you want to go and use the botanicals and stuff like that. But how can we see all this ahead of time? Iridology. The eyes have it. Where are you, eyeballs? The eyes have it. And I mean, when you can see the world, I was just looking at a guy's eyes, and he's having problems right in the solar plex area here. Claims that in a colonic he can't get the water past this, and when they do, they can't get it back to run. There's some prolapsing for sure, and the transverse for sure, and then major parathyroids go bam, bam, and go, oh my God. That's why the prolapsing, of course, because why? Calcium utilization problems, connective tissue. And there it was, not the thyroid, parathyroid, bam, right in your face. So the young lad's got some work to do to strengthen that. I don't know if he's folded over. They've done all kinds of x-rays and haven't found anything. Stomach, though, he's pointing more to the stomach, and that's your solar plexus area. That is your autonomic ganglia. So you can have all kinds of problems with that. The autonomic nervous system from that. And then add to that the parathyroids and low calcium. Calcium plays a major role in nerve transmission. So it plays a major role in the human body on all types of levels. All your main electrolytes do. But low blood pressure is always going to be your adrenal glands, and you want to get that up. In a low blood pressure, we love the licorice root. I love the licorice because it has a lot of other factors in expectorant. It's a little bit of a tonic. It's got a lot of factors to licorice root, but it definitely will elevate your adrenal function and your neurotransmitter production. And that's really kind of what you're looking for. But you're also looking to make your cells of your adrenal glands do that, and that's why I like the botanicals. They're not so much of a stimulant as they are, boys, I'm here. I'm an herb that is designed to make you feel better. And that's, I mean, we couldn't even get into these levels of magic that we call it and determine the consciousness of these botanicals. I've been back to plant life, but not to that degree. Oh, crap. It's just amazing stuff. Man should look with awe instead of all the judgment and all this that they have. Just the creators, I mean, it's just, whoa, it's just freaky. When you take this binoculars off, oh, look, I can see. My name is Atina, A-T-A-N-A-S, apologize there, and I'm from Bulgaria. I follow Dr. Morse raw fruit diet since April 24. You changed my life for sure. You treated my stricture urethra without even knowing. Isn't that cool? You know, again, the foods, the herbs, they have a way of going, hey, buddy, to the cells, you know, and say, you know what, you were taught that you were weaker, but you know what, you're not. Oh, I'm not? Genetics, you know, and it's like, oh, you mean I can overcome genetic memories? Of course you can. You know, I mean, everything is in real time, and everything is nothing but a succession of nows. Now? Wait, now? 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 Everything is now. But I have low blood pressure since more than 15 years. Now I'm 43. You know what? And I just come to me here. You might want to think about your parathyroid now that we're on that subject. You might really want to think about that. I'm only thinking, of course, genetically you could have a stricture or a prolapsing or whatever anywhere as an isolated spot, because let's say your grandmother, her lymph system was really backed up in an area and just sucked the calcium out of that area and broke down the cell's ability to perform and that sort of thing, and that was passed. Okay. I just think because it deals with electricity, consciousness, but that is everything. Chemistry, frequencies of magnetic energies, all of that is consciousness. It is all one. It appears like everything is so different. And yet everything, when it's all said and done, everything merges and crumbles up and becomes the one again. Wild. Wild, 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 my friend. All right, in Facebook groups, we are puzzled how to deal with low blood pressure to normalize it. Mine is 90/60 most of the time. Well, that's your adrenal glands, right? Like I said, you can use licorice root to pop it up there. That's going to be your best bet, to use a botanical to do that. You can use glandulars if you want to slap them a little bit. Take an adrenal 400 and take a bottle of it, just to tell the cells of your adrenal glands that, hey, you're okay. You know, I might be from another a species, but I'm stronger than you, and I want you to wake up a little bit. I was talking about that with someone talking about Lee's work with radioisotopes and stuff like that, Center Process Labs, that sort of thing. I've got some of Dr. Lee's original handwriting works when he was building the whole consciousness of glandulars, protomorphogens we called them back then. He was in with another guy, another biochemist, which ended up splitting from Lee and creating his own line of glandulars, which I had those too, and I thought they were definitely a cut above Lee's. But we have New Zealanders and stuff like that. If you're going to eat animals and kill them, and they're organic and treated properly, we'll harvest them for you. Because in the health field, you can use those. If health wasn't down in the rabbit hole, of course not. But you wouldn't be eating dead animals like that either. We wouldn't have slaughterhouses either. So it's all tied in this growth of this level of creation and the Homo sapien and that form and all that kind of stuff. Who knows, where that's going. Just remember, you're not the form. You're only using the form. Just remember that no matter who you are, what color you are, what sex you are, who cares? You're only using your form. You got to figure out who you are that's using the form. How do you find that out? Since many people in the group are not capable of normalizing this, but what? That's easy to do. I mean, just licorice alone will bring it up quite a bit. That's why we don't recommend it for high blood pressure cases. But high blood pressure doesn't take long to cut down. Depends how chronic you are in the kidneys and stuff, but always is the kidneys. Always. I can't imagine anybody not knowing blood pressure problems are with the kidneys. I just can't imagine that. Medically, known that forever, I think, but I don't know. Your feet start swelling, who you going to blame? Who you going to call, right? You're going to call the kidneys. Not a lot. When you see lymphedema, who you going to call? Well, wait a minute. How's the kidneys connected to edema? How is it? A little thing called the lymphatic system? Mm-hmm. This should be easy to get. For you guys, any graduate from our school, this should be a piece of cake. I'm going to do some more videos. We were just talking about that with Sarah, and this new company we have is, it's going to be a little different. The price of the herbs are mostly $28 a bottle. There's a couple of them that are a little bit more because of the type of herbs that I'm using. So the pancreatic formula is definitely just a lot more when it comes to capsules, but it's just that certain herbs are very pricey, and I've been doing my best to play with that for you and not try to make formulas expensive, because it's. But I think there are groups of people with similar similarities. Tons of people with low blood pressure, bro. And high blood pressure is low blood pressure. And it's all kidneys and adrenals. Fix those and you don't have a blood pressure problem. And high blood pressure group. We know that kidneys are not filtering, but the group with HBP have faster lowering of the pressure. Yeah, but can I use the word chronic? When you talk about someone with a high blood pressure case, that's generally the lymphatic system within the kidneys itself. So you got a pressure thing. You're all built up, a lot of what they call inflammation, but that's just really the flip side of what the body does to fix itself. So it's easier to get high blood pressure down, much easier. Now, there are some people that are chronic, but when you look at low blood pressure, that's more chronic. Chronic, you're going to find genetic involvements. You're going to find that this has been part of the family tree. Those adrenals are sitting there and probably have nerve rings. So you're taking a while to rebuild that. Siberian ginseng, erythritol, those sort of things. Take a look at this new Endo formula that I've got coming. They're different. That's all I got to say. They're different. We don't want to make the same formulas everybody else has. And I've always made great formulas. Western bought my best line of formulas I've made yet. That's not what they look like now. They kind of put a Walmart label on them, but the guys were trying to get them in Walmart, trying to get them out there like that. I know they were. But when it comes to botanicals, this world is not, most herbalists don't know their butt from a hole in the ground when it comes to botanicals, and I hate to say that, but if you're studying herbal books, trying to understand herbs, good luck. It's tough because there's so many copycats. I mean, I can pull 10 herb books right in front of me and take a look because I have a tendency to do stuff like that. What do you think? What did you find out? What does this research show? Right? If I'm not familiar with them, I'm familiar with almost all the herbs now, but there's some I'm not. You know, I've not used elder a lot, and I have it in one of the formulas. And I'm looking for elder flowers because it's a great systemic breaking up congestion and stuff throughout the body and stuff. So there's a few things that I'm using that's new to me, and but I'm excited about that. And I've done a lot of research with them, and so I'm excited to add that to the party. In a herbal party. I think they're okay. But the group with the low blood pressure group appear to have years without success. You know, again, it's a chronic thing. If you're having years, keep in mind these things, guys. One of the reasons humans have lost their health is that they've cooked and processed their foods. No animal cooks their food before they eat it. And that was a natural hygienic statement going back in the 60s. And I've never forgot it. I'm a farm boy. When I read that, I go, yeah, I don't know any animal that cooks their food before they eat it. You know, it's just a Zen thing, you know. And it's like that really started becoming, why do we cook our food before we eat it? You know, you start asking yourself questions like that. Why are we destroying our foods before we eat it? And that's just where we're at. If Robert Kidney gets in there, he needs to go on a raw food diet. Dr. Oz needs to introduce him to raw foods, and then Dr. Oz can go back, ooh, 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 ooh. Holy crap, man. Okay. But you've got to try to at least have an 80 to 90% raw food diet if you want to maintain a good level of health. But first and foremost, I would go on a good detox for 6 months. You want to get your kidneys filtering. You want to see sediment in that urine, period, end of story. You don't see sediment, you're in trouble, period. And you've been with me enough, you guys, to know that we don't lie. We're right on that, and we're right on it. And you guys see it for yourselves as well. So you want the raw, anything cooked. If you're going to eat dead animals, just do it once in a blue moon, all right? Have you a piece of chicken on a salad or something, that sort of thing. Don't combine your proteins and starch. Watch your proper food combinations and all this sort of thing. But if you want real world regeneration, it only happens on raw. The power of consciousness. You know, you start stripping things apart and breaking them apart. It's kind of like, what was it, the Terminator and that guy that was made of metal, and they blew him apart, and it's got all these little bitty pieces of metal, and then they all come back together. This is Matthew, United States, 54 years old. Matthew, you're